Welcome to Cinema Convos. This is the show where we bring guests with different tastes in film to have a meaningful discussion about the art of cinema. I'm your host, Yash, and I'm here with our special guest, Shikha. And today we're discussing the film My Cousin Vinny from 1992, which was written by Dale Launer and directed by Jonathan Lynn, and stars Joe Pesci, Marissa Tomei, and Ralph Macchio. In My Cousin Vinny, two New Yorkers accused of murder in rural Alabama while on their way back to college call the help of one of their cousins, a loudmouth lawyer with no trial experience. And before we get started today, I want to issue a quick spoiler warning. We will probably talk about the plot points in this movie, so, watch the movie before checking out this episode. And with that, I'll ask our first question, which is, what is your first memory or best memory with this movie?
Oh my God. Okay, that's intense. I think I just always grew up watching it with my parents, so like just sitting on the couch and like watching it with them some random day. So we'd watch it every time it would come on TV. We just watch it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, my first experience was just watching it like 2 weeks ago, so it's pretty recent. But yeah, I definitely watch it again. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I know that because I like told you to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I have to watch it. I can't discuss it if I don't watch it.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think it's a good movie. I guess I'm moving on to the next question though. What are some of your favorite aspects of the movie? It can be anything.
Okay, it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like the way the people are dressed, like what do you call that?
Like the costume design, or
I guess like just like the placement of the time period and like how they made them look like in that whatever year.
Yeah, when does it take place?
I have no idea.
It wasn't the 90s. It takes place like before that, right? It tells
I don't know any of the facts.
I'm trying to remember it because I've just seen it the one time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of that, I just love the scene with like when he wears like the red suit. And the judge is like, "Why are you wearing that?" And he's like, "It's literally the only option."
Mr. Gambini, are you mocking me with that outfit?
Mocking you? No, I'm not mocking you, Judge.
Then explain that outfit.
I bought a suit. You've seen it. Now it's covered in mud. This town doesn't have a 1-hour cleaners, so I had to buy a new suit. Except that the only store you could buy a new suit in has got the flu. You get that? The whole store got the flu. So I had to get this in a secondhand store. So it's either wear the leather jacket, which I know you hate, or this. So I wore this ridiculous thing for you.
And then it's really funny. Like I like the type of humor that they have in it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the strongest aspect of this movie is it's written very well.
Mm-hmm.
It moves very fast. The dialogue's great. Like Marissa Tomei, like his character, like just roasts him about like hunting. Like that's hilarious. Like the way it's written is really smart. So
she's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, she's still very pretty today. So
yeah. She's
Aunt May now. That's where I know her from. But yeah, she won an Oscar for this movie, so it's her Oscar-winning role. Yeah.
Wow.
Which it's well deserved. Her performance is one of the best parts for sure. She's a very entertaining character.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Pesci's playing like the same type of character, but in a more like comedic, lighter movie, basically, that he played in the 90s.
Yeah. Like one fact I do know about this movie is that they actually show this to law students in law school.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like actually the proceedings or whatever they use in the law scenes are more like how it actually is than like the shows we watch. Like
yeah, I didn't know how realistic it was, but I did see a video pop up on my feed recently that said like a real lawyer watches My Cousin Vinny and explains it. So that's cool. Yeah, because like a lot of movies and shows about legal stuff is like very serious. I feel like this movie is a bit more lighthearted. Yeah, but it still has like an engaging like courtroom drama element.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
But it's like very light and fun. And
I also have always liked that type of, I don't know what, like not race, but like group of people. Like it's kind of like the Outsiders, right? Like the rough like crowd back in the day here, like across Italian like mob.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
I know what you mean, like Italian American.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio was in the Outsiders too. He was Johnny.
Yeah, I remember that.
I've been seeing a lot of him recently on Cobra Kai. He's like 60 now, which is kind of crazy. He looks really good for 60.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's the Karate Kid series sequel, which this is one of my tangents, but funnily enough, I watched the entire Karate Kid series just to watch Cobra Kai. And the sequels are like not good, but they're tying into the sequels now in the show because the show is great.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And I also like the Jaden Smith movie, admittedly. I'll put that on the air. That's fine. It's a really, really solid remake, in my opinion.
I don't think I've seen that one either. I don't think I've seen the original Karate Kid either.
I watched the new one first, so that kind of ruined. And I love Jackie Chan, so Jackie Chan is
me too. I love
like Jaden Smith might not be the best actor, and we don't need to talk about his dad anymore.
What? Why?
not today, because he slapped Chris Rock.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I still love him as an actor, but he was a little unhinged a few weeks ago.
He is an icon.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, they're friends, like sometimes you like slap your friend, if you guys are drunk and like.
Yeah, but maybe not in front of like the whole world.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, it's okay, Will. Don't come after us. We love you.
Come after him. I'm on his side.
Hey, I wanted you to win the Oscar. I watched King Richard and I said he should win an Oscar. So I'm just trying to be a vessel of love, just like you. So do you have anything to say about, I guess, how the film's written or directed? I know we talked about it a little bit.
Not really. I mean,
I think more than anything, the dialogue is just really good. It's very funny, and
maybe like watching it now, like after so many times, I feel like some scenes could have been cut shorter. Like they kind of dragged on a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes down to like, for me, this movie is really good, but I think the first half gets a little repetitive. But it's still like entertaining. It's never like boring.
Yeah.
But I feel like the first half of the movie is just like the two guys in prison are like, why should we, like one of them's like, why should we trust Vinny? And he's like, he's my cousin. And then Vinny does something that like makes them should have to trust him less. But they're like, nah, we'll keep him.
Yeah.
But I think what I like about this movie a lot, besides just the comedic parts, is that I think there's a big theme of like feeling out of place, like in your profession or like career.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's definitely there, because like this guy is like an actual lawyer, but like no one treats him like it the whole movie.
Yeah.
And
they're trying to discredit him like the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Just because of like how he dresses or like how he talks. And I feel like a lot of those can relate to that. Like at my last job, I felt like I was not nearly as knowledgeable as like the people at my company. So it was like overwhelming sometimes.
It's definitely relatable how like when she was like, why didn't you go to watch the court cases or whatever?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, yeah, like between you and your dad's garage and like working at nights or whatever, like when was I supposed to go? And that's relatable.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like throughout the movie, like no one believes in him, so you're kind of rooting for him, and that gives you something to like care about in the movie. I think it's a big part of just Joe Pesci's like acting in the movie. It's very good.
I think I tend to be the person too who will like put on a movie and then just do stuff like around my house, like laundry and whatever. And like I like that this movie is so lighthearted, and anytime you look up to like actually watch it, you can laugh.
Yeah, you could start this movie at any point and you could want to watch it all the way through. Like you start it halfway or like at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do that too with movies I've usually already seen like a lot of times, because otherwise I'll get distracted. It's a good movie. I definitely would rewatch it. I haven't done that yet because I don't want to rewatch movies that quickly usually.
Yeah.
Unless I'm showing it to somebody else. That happens sometimes.
True. I love at the ending part, like how that guy who fell, right?
Which guy?
The guy at the bar who was like fighting for the
$20
or whatever. The lawyer Vinny, he would like add in different parts, like where did you fall? Like did you fall at your place or somebody else's?
Yeah.
Like, he would just break his character and
important legal questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I think with the ending, I just like how it's very like, I don't know, I'm glad they like win the case. Like that's good, because otherwise the movie would have been just really sad.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do the crime. So but yeah, I mean, going into this movie, I didn't know anything about what it was about. I just knew the cast, and it's like a courtroom drama, comedy. Do you have a favorite scene in the movie?
There's so many, like, I don't know. Me and my brother will like quote this movie on different things all the time. Maybe the part when that guy's counting the bushes. And he's like, how many bushes? And he's like, no, don't forget that one and that one. He's like, 7 bushes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick a favorite scene, partially because it's so new, but also like this movie has like a lot of really funny scenes. So
yeah, I think so.
I love when like at the end when she talks about like how much knowledge she has about cars. Like that's really entertaining.
Yeah.
Because she's like clearly mad at him, but like if you ask her a question, she like answers it. So I love that. It's just entertaining to watch.
And why not? What is positive attraction?
It's a limited slip differential which distributes power equally to both the right and left tires. The 64 Skylark had a regular differential, which anyone who's been stuck in the mud in Alabama knows. You step on the gas, one tire spins, the other tire does nothing.
That's right.
One of the things I love about the movie is that I love Marissa Tomei's character. Like throughout the movie, she's always like very supportive of Vinny, which is like, even though they're both like kind of characters, they're kind of goofy.
Yeah.
They have a very strong like bond, and like, you know, she's like trying to tell him like, have you read this like manual yet? And she's like, why haven't you read it yet? You should. This is in there.
Like, you know how in Indian movies you feel like the two people who are a couple in the movie, they should be together in real life because they make them match so well. Like I feel like they match like that. Like it looks like they should be married.
There's a lot of on-screen chemistry for sure.
Yeah. They're not married, right?
I don't think so. I'm gonna check now.
I've always wanted to have her hair that has like the white stripe.
Oh yeah, the white stripe. Very iconic. No, Joe Pesci was married to, he's divorced from both people, but he's only been married twice, and neither time with Marissa Tomei. So maybe they dated though. I don't know. It's possible. This movie would make you believe that they could have.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't have a favorite scene necessarily. As I said earlier, I like the scene where he comes in the red suit and explains why he's in the red suit.
Yeah.
I also love the running joke as this poor guy is like not getting any sleep. Like anywhere he goes, he's like, something wakes him up at like 3 a.m. And that makes me feel like secondhand exhausted for him. There's two things I can't live without are like sleep and food, and this poor guy is getting like no sleep. So I can relate. I can feel
or
bad.
Food either. Like he's not the type who wants to eat grits and like.
Oh yeah, they don't like the food, the Alabama food.
What's this over here?
You never heard of grits?
Sure. I heard of grits. I just actually never seen a grit before. Yeah, honey, you can try it.
You first.
I wonder how this movie did in Alabama, like when it came out.
Probably good.
Yeah.
I feel like the younger people would like it. Maybe not the older people.
I saw a movie recently in theaters, and it takes place in like Houston, and I was like, oh, that's
really
cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Which you wouldn't know unless they told you, and they made it a point to like tell you it's Houston.
I have a teacher in nursing school right now who's exactly like the judge. So in my mind, whenever she's doing anything that she does, and it's like kind of scary, I'm like laughing in my brain because I'm always thinking with this guy.
Like he looks like the judge, or just like acts like him?
Both, like the way that she'll kind of like dress like really stern, and like how he's like all about like every single tiny rule, you know, like she's like that. Which is good. Like she's really good at her job or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like
that's intense.
It's like, you know, everybody had the flu, you know, like the whole store had the flu.
Yeah. I mean, I remember one time I was working on a script just for fun, and I wrote a character based on a professor I had. So it's, I can see maybe they drew some inspiration from real life.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite character in this movie? I feel like it's kind of hard for me, but
probably Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny is the heart of the movie for sure.
Just like his sarcastic attitude is just my way of life.
It's just Joe Pesci doing his thing, what he does best.
I don't think I've seen any of his other movies, honestly.
You've seen Home Alone, or
I've seen
any of his Scorsese movies from that time period. He was in a lot of those, like all the gangster movies he was in them. He curses a lot in other movies, like he's known for that. Like in like Goodfellas, he curses like hundreds of times. So he's always kind of in those movies, he's always kind of the crazy guy. So, and this movie is a little more like down to earth, like, normal. Even though he's like kind of wacky, he's still like, he's been much crazier in movies for sure.
For sure.
You're a funny guy.
What do you mean? You mean the way I talk? What?
It's just, you know, you're just funny. It's funny, you know, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how? I mean, what's funny about it?
You know, you're funny.
You mean,
So?
well, let me understand this, because you know, maybe it's me, I'm a little, but I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Would you consider yourself I guess we're talking about the actors, a fan of anyone in this movie? Like, do you follow anyone's work? Do you think it's okay if you don't?
Not really, no.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Pesci doesn't really act that much anymore. So he was in The Irishman, but like that's about it in the last like few years.
Now that you mentioned Home Alone, I mean, I did love him in that movie too.
Yeah, he's in the first two Home Alones. He's one of the robbers.
I like the guy with the crazy hair too, though.
In this movie?
No.
Oh yeah, his Marvin, whatever his name is. Let's see. Oh, he won an Oscar for Goodfellas. That's cool. Which was a year before this. So him and Marissa Tomei were just killing it at that time. Marissa Tomei, obviously, Spider-Man, new Aunt May. I saw her in a movie called The Wrestler. She had a supporting role in that. I think she got Oscar nominated for that. And she was also in this movie called The King of Staten Island, which was Pete Davidson's movie from 2020 that I don't think anyone saw.
I don't know about that.
it's good. He's an interesting guy for sure.
I saw her in the Spider-Man movie, but that was like so short. She was there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, she's definitely a pretty small part in those movies, but she has a few movies that she has a more substantial part in.
Oh, sorry. I thought that you could sense that with your Peter Tingle.
Please do not start calling it my Peter Tingle.
You should pack your suit just in case. I have a tingle about it.
Please stop saying tingle, May.
And Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid. To be honest, when he was younger, I think this movie he's actually like somewhat better actor because the Karate Kid's a classic, but I don't know if it's because of like his acting. Like he wasn't the best actor like back in the day, but that was definitely what he was known for. But this came out a solid 8 years after the Karate Kid, so he's definitely a little bit older. And everyone else in the cast I don't really know that well. I don't know if they've done that many other movies.
I don't either. I don't recognize anybody really.
Those are the three big ones for sure. Okay, so what genre would you define this movie as? And do you feel like it just fits one? And why do you feel it's one of the best in that genre?
Probably comedy for sure. And then maybe like a little bit of drama.
Yeah, I would say it's a mix of comedy and drama. It's more on the comedy side for sure. But
yeah,
I think when it needs to be serious, it is serious.
And what was the other question? I don't remember.
Do you think it's one of the best in the genre?
I think so, yeah, because like it fulfills the purpose. Like you could turn on at any point and laugh, right?
Yeah, it does. I feel like in this movie, even though it's a little repetitive in the beginning, I feel like nothing is like wasting screen time. Everything moves the plot forward at some level. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to say about Marissa Tomei. I just remembered.
Sure.
I feel like Marissa Tomei is always like playing the supporting role in movies. Even in this movie, it was like a supporting role.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's very good at that, though. Like it always adds a layer to the movie. But I haven't seen her like lead a lot of movies, at least like big movies.
I feel like if they made 101 Dalmatians, they should make her a Cruella de Vil.
Okay.
But like they would have to make it like a really evil, like dark version of the movie.
I mean, they did that with Emma Stone.
Still like, no, it was still like a little more like.
It's still pretty tame.
Yeah.
It wasn't too dark. It's darker than usual.
It would have to be like a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Disney is too afraid to take too many risks. They're like, we got to keep it family friendly.
True. Actually, I think I was taking a really bad turn. Like
no,
animal slaughter. Like
I mean, like Cruella de Vil should be like kind of evil. She wants to like murder dogs to like
exactly like it is evil. They should make it evil, not like a funny.
Almost like downplay it sometimes, just like, oh look, she's Cruella de Vil. Like,
yeah. Well, she just wants to skin 101 puppies, like make a coat.
The dog genocide is her MO, so I don't know if she's a good person.
The idea, great. The execution, not great.
Yeah. I thought the movie was okay, but
Which movie?
Cruella.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch the new one.
Yeah, it was it had Emma Stone. She did a good job. It was like kind of a Cruella de Vil origin story. It's a little darker than usual for Disney movies, but
I saw like clips and stuff.
Yeah,
but not the whole thing.
That was back when the movie theater was like just coming back. I guess one thing I already mentioned, but I wanted to go ahead and go more in depth with that, is that the characters have a lot of personality. Like as soon as they're introduced, you kind of get a feel for who they are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like the two college kids at the beginning, like you just know they're gonna do something dumb soon. Like or they're like, he's like, should I buy tuna? And it's like you know there's something's gonna happen with these two, like just for the way they're introduced. And also I feel like this on the flip side, like with Marissa Tomei's character, what's her name actually? I'm gonna go check that because I keep calling her by her actress name.
Right? What is her name?
And I'm forgetting, and which is.
Wait, let me guess, please.
Yeah, you can guess.
I've watched it so many times, I don't even know her name.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, I don't know.
This is Mona Lisa Vito.
Oh, okay. I would not have guessed that.
They don't say her name that much, I don't think.
They don't. They say Miss Vito one time.
Yeah, they say Vinny a lot, so you know his name.
Yeah.
But what I like about her is like she is supportive to Vinny, but not blindly. Like if he like does something wrong or like dumb, she like calls him out on it, and I kind of love that. I think that's like a valuable relationship for him.
Yeah.
She's never like, oh yeah, you should just do that because that's what you want to do. She'll very often be like, no, I don't support this.
Yeah.
Very vocally.
I like that.
Yeah, it's great.
Imagine you're a deer. You're prancing along, you get thirsty, you spot a little brook, you put your little deer lips down to the cool, clear water. Bam! A fucking bullet rips off part of your head. Your brains are laying on the ground in little bloody pieces. Now I ask you, would you give a fuck what kind of pants the son of a bitch who shot you was wearing?
But yeah, I think the way the characters are introduced, you very quickly get an idea of who they are, which is kind of hard to do with just like dialogue usually in movies. Usually you need a whole like half an hour to like learn about the characters and their conflicts or their flaws. But in this movie, it's very quick.
It just jumps right in.
Yeah. It does it very well. Like, yeah, but as soon as they were in the police station, I was like kind of secondhand uncomfortable watching that scene because they were like, did you do it? And they're like, we didn't think it was a big deal. And I'm like, please say what the crime is so they know what you're talking about.
I love that part too, because it's true. Like
all it takes to fix it is just to like be a little bit more specific on either end.
Exactly.
And neither of them are, and it's really funny.
And then what?
We went out to the car, and that's it.
When'd you shoot him?
What?
At what point did you shoot the clerk?
I shot the clerk.
Yes, when did you shoot him?
I shot the clerk.
Hey, Dean, we need you out here. I'm in the middle of a damn confession here.
Whoa! Wait a minute!
I love when she arrives to the town or whatever, she gets out and she's like taking pictures of everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she carries that like camera throughout the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's very 90s.
Yeah.
I love seeing old technology in movies too.
Me too.
It's like a fun part of watching older movies. Like I wonder if like movies from today will like in 20 years will look like obsolete because of like iPhones or something. There'll be like a new version of a phone. I don't know.
No idea. I can't imagine, you know.
Yeah. But speaking of that, actually, how do you think this movie has aged, and how do you think it will continue to age?
I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't alive in 1992, so I don't know how it was received
I wasn't either.
initially. But I think it's a movie that ages well. I mean, there's nothing in it that's like offensive or anything like that.
Yeah, and all the concepts are pretty broad, you know, they just have a lot of stuff into one.
I think as long as there's a courtroom in real life, this movie will like still be like people will still watch and be like, oh yeah, that's plausible. But yeah, let me see how it did, because it has pretty good reviews. Sometimes old movies will come out from like 90s and then like they won't get good reviews initially, but then they'll develop a following. But I think this movie has always had like a positive reception. Yeah, 87%.
If you watch this movie several times, you will realize how quotable it actually is.
Yeah, this is a very quotable movie because I never watched it, but I can definitely see some quotes being like used. Like when she says like when she's talking about the deer, she's like, he's not gonna care like what pants you're wearing. Like, that was a pretty funny quote. I feel like I could say that in real life. It's like I've never had an interest to go hunting in real life. So when I saw that scene, I was like, yeah, I see what she's saying. Like if you don't want to go, don't go.
Or like if you're traveling somewhere, right, and then like you get off at the airport and you look around, you're like, yeah, but the Chinese food is terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to know if you're in like a developed city or not.
I bet the Chinese food here is terrible.
If they have good Chinese food, because it's also the same. I think it's the same rule with Indian food. You could probably do the same thing.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
Because I remember we had Indian food in Vietnam. Because my dad was on a business trip there and we went with him, and it's like really bad Indian food, but it's like that's just an example of, I guess, food being bad in a certain place.
But I guess that's a way that it has aged. That like that kind of joke maybe would be stereotypical now, right? To say it, but it's like
it's still pretty tame though. It's not
a lighthearted joke.
It's like it's not about like Chinese people. It's just like about the restaurants.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, I mean, I think that's what I'm saying. I think this movie's aged well as a comedy because there's nothing in here where people will watch today and be like, oh, that doesn't age well. Like some movies, like I was watching Tropic Thunder like recently.
Okay, yeah.
Movie from 2008. That entire movie would not exist today. And I mean, I think it's hilarious. It's so funny, but So many jokes in that movie would be considered like offensive.
Is that the one where what's his name? The Iron Man guy was in that movie. Right?
Yeah.
And he used blackface like dirt. Oh no.
And he was Oscar nominated for it to tell you what the times were like back then.
That movie's hilarious though. But...
It's so funny. I watched like half of it because my friend had not seen it, and I was like, yeah, this movie has so many jokes that people would immediately like shut down today. And that wasn't even that long ago, 2008. Same thing with The Hangover. I don't think The Hangover could be made today.
Yeah.
At least certain parts of it. Maybe the movie could be made. But yeah, I think this movie doesn't have anything like that. It's more on the lighter side of comedy, which is it's all about the script more than like the jokes.
Yeah.
Like the things they say regularly are just funny naturally because of the way they say them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I just didn't, and I actually do have a favorite scene. And now that I think about it,
okay.
or like a favorite sequence, is when he's like, when Vinny at the end is like very confidently like questioning all the witnesses.
Yeah.
I feel like the movie just kind of builds up to that.
Yeah.
And like at that point, he's not gonna mess up. Like until it comes down to like to his wife's like testimony, I guess. But yeah, he's doing. He finally like was able to actually like tackle the case, which was nice to see.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful stuff in this movie. There's beautiful stuff in every movie.
I mean, that you like that scene the best, Like,
yeah.
I feel like I can judge people off of like what scene is their favorite now.
Yeah, it's very. I think we all strive to have that moment in our careers or lives.
I said my favorite moment was the one when he was counting bushes.
I mean, that's funny too. It's great for a different reason. But I think one more theme from the movie is like we talked about how like no one takes him seriously, but also like the movie is a lot about first impressions on like both sides.
Yeah.
Like, they get to Alabama and they're like, what is this place? And like when people meet them, they're like, you guys are weird. So I think we put a lot of stock in like our first impressions of people, and the movie kind of tackles that in a funny way. Like when they go to the diner and there's like breakfast or dinner, like this is the two options. Like, I thought that was pretty funny too.
Funny.
He's like, we'll have breakfast. And I was like, what does he mean? And I look at the menu, it's like there's like two things: breakfast, lunch, dinner.
If life could be that simple though,
Yeah, honestly, it's a decent restaurant model. I mean,
it really is.
Like you only have 3 menu items as long as they're all good.
And if you don't like it there, then just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like keep it simple.
You can't go to a Chinese restaurant though in that town.
I'm trying to move apartments right now, and I do kind of gauge it off of where's the Chinese food.
Yeah, because it's
important.
Chinese food always has takeout, delivery, and it's like you can eat a good amount of things.
Yeah.
Good variety. So this movie, it has like a 7.6 on IMDb, a 68 Metacritic score, like average of all the critics.
That's not good.
It's still positive, but it's a little lower. So do you feel like this movie deserves more hype than it got?
100%. Okay. I get how people can be like, oh, that was boring or something. If you like are trying to go to like the movie theater and watch this movie, with your friends, but like if you're just like chilling, and like you're trying to watch a movie and you're like paying attention, it's so funny if you pay attention to it.
It's a fun movie. I think it's a good movie. I think audiences like it more than critics for sure.
Because if you watch it as a whole, then you can like see like if you like think about the other parts, like how it all ties together and how it's funny.
Yeah, it all ties together nicely at the end. Yeah, for me, this is currently my 4th favorite movie from that year. But the only movies I like more than it, Reservoir Dogs, Malcolm X, and Aladdin. There is no Aladdin. Classic.
I haven't seen any of those, so.
Well, Malcolm X, I saw like it's a really good movie. It's about Malcolm X, obviously, but it's like a 4-hour movie. It's a little long, so. But yeah, those are some movies I like a little more than this movie. But this is a great movie from that year. I mean, I haven't seen very many from that year.
Yeah.
Let me see what other. Because I know Marissa Tomei won an Oscar. Let me see if I got any other nominations. No, that was the only one.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a screenplay nod, at least. Best Picture nod too. Honestly, but the Oscars they're always kind of a mess. They snub a lot of movies every year.
But they can only like nominate that many, right? Or can they?
It's up to 10, but they don't always do 10. Their voting is kind of a weird system.
Yeah.
This last year they did 10. They don't always though.
What category did Will Smith win his Oscar?
Best Actor.
For what?
King Richard.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's about Venus and Serena's dad, the tennis players.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance. I was really excited for him to win an Oscar until he like made the whole mood awkward. Yeah, because I've always liked him. He's a great actor.
Mhm.
In 1992, I think Unforgiven won. I like this movie more than that movie. It won Best Picture. It's like a
Unforgiven?
Western.
I don't think I've seen that one either. I should watch more of his movies because I do like him.
Oh, it's not a Will Smith movie though.
Oh.
It's just the Best Picture winner.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Will Smith's done. I mean, Pursuit of Happiness. They
That
showed
was okay.
they showed us that movie in school so many times. I don't know why. Maybe they just wanted to inspire us. But I watched that in like at least 4 different classes in high school.
Yeah.
It's like it's movie day. We're watching Pursuit of Happiness. Okay, how do you feel about the ending of the movie? At the very end, when they're done with the case.
I think there was like a lot of relief, like all the way around. Like the judge kind of like let him go, and was like tricked.
Yeah.
And the 2 kids just like basically got off.
Yeah.
And he won his first case, so then they could get married. I don't know. Everything was
Just
like
very
positive.
feel good ending.
Exactly.
Which is how this type of movie should end. It shouldn't have
Yeah.
like a sad ending.
Exactly.
It would almost like ruin the movie for me if they like didn't win the case.
It's funny though, like when they said not guilty or innocent or whatever, like everybody just like ran out of the courtroom. It was just over immediately.
Yeah.
Does that really happen? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't sat enough in any court cases.
Yeah.
So no idea. Yeah, I mean, I will say one more thing actually is that
Sure.
this movie, I think this is one of those movies that I hope they like never feel the need to like remake it because like it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
It's
No, please don't remake it.
because like
It would destroy it for me.
it definitely is. It the performances are too like unique. I don't
Yeah.
think they could recreate that because that does happen a lot nowadays. Is they'll remake something that was popular or people liked.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that's like one of a kind. So
Especially like because these people are characters of real people, right? Like they're simulating
yeah,
characters. But then the new remake would be trying to simulate the actors.
mhm.
So it would be like too far along the line. It's like playing
Yeah.
telephone, right? And then it just gets like you can tell they're like acting really
Yeah.
hard.
I mean, it's very rare that a remake is as good.
Yeah.
The only one I could think of that was actually I liked better was the new West Side Story, but it's like one of like hundreds of remakes that are like
I haven't
bad.
seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an example of a good remake, which is extremely hard to find if you go looking for it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think this is one of those movies that
Except for Lion King 2, but I guess it's a sequel. Right?
it's a sequel, it's not a
Yeah.
remake. It's a continuation of the story,
Yes.
which I also still haven't watched that in years.
Yeah. Well, you should.
Yeah, maybe I'll rewatch the whole trilogy.
Okay, but watch number 2 first.
Okay, I gotta watch the first one first, just because I love it.
No, but you have to watch it with a fresh mind.
I mean, even if I watch the second one first, I'll still remember the first one. So here's kind of a hard one. Do you think there's anything in the movie you would change to make it better, or do you think it's like perfect the way it is? And both are valid answers.
I think there are certain parts that like certain scenes that they just kind of dragged on a little bit too long. And if they just cut them a little bit, the movie would just be faster and it wouldn't really lose anything.
Yeah, the movie is like a solid 2 hours. Maybe if it was like an hour 45, it'd be like the ideal length. Because I think it's a little repetitive in the beginning, but not necessarily. It's never like boring or drags for me.
Yeah.
But I do wish it would get to the courtroom stuff a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
But I see why everything's there, and I don't think it's a huge criticism. It's not enough for me to like not like the movie or anything
Yeah,
like that.
for sure. It's like the scene where they're talking about how the leaky faucet, and they go like on and on about how like the NASA engineers and like the
Yeah.
torque. And I get that, but then like the ending part of that scene, I feel like is just a little too long. Where I'm just like, okay,
Yeah,
let's just move on.
it's like we're ready for it to be over, so we can watch it again later.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but yeah, overall, very good movie. What would you give this movie out of 10? Would you give it a 10?
I would give it a 9.
Okay, I think I gave it an 8.
Okay.
So pretty solid.
Yeah.
So the last question, and you can take as much time as you need for this, is if you had to convince someone to watch this movie, what would you tell them, or what's your sales pitch?
I tell people all the time, and I just say like it's a really funny movie. You just have to like sit down and watch it, and you're gonna laugh the whole time.
Yep, I would probably say like it's very fun to just watch the characters interact in this movie. It's like it's so funny, and I don't know, but at its core, it does have like a really good heart. So
Or I just tell people like it's my favorite movie, like you should totally watch it.
yeah, I mean, I do that with a lot of movies too. It's one of my favorite movies. But like this is like I guess a hypothetical. If you found someone who hadn't seen it and like maybe had no interest in seeing it, you would get them to watch it by saying like it's fun, it's funny,
Yeah.
good-hearted. I definitely would watch this movie again. I definitely would add it to my collection actually at some point.
You should. I have the golden box edition.
What edition is that? I love seeing the
don't
different editions of movies,
What do you mean edition? I don't know.
like special versions of.
Oh, I don't know.
Because
I saw it one time.
Okay.
Walmart or something.
Yeah, because they do like anniversary versions and stuff like for certain movies.
Is it possible the two Utes?
To what? What was that word?
What word?
To what?
What?
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, two Utes.
What is a Ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Two youths.
So we reached the end of today's discussion on My Cousin Vinny. I wanted to thank Shikha for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And we'd be happy to have you on again anytime.
All right, Lion King 2.
Okay, Lion King 2. From all of us at Cinema Convos, thanks to all of you for listening. If you enjoy our show, give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay up to date on new episodes. And we hope you tune in next time.